And I can't tell you the number of employees in this city and around here and in northern Wisconsin that do DoD work. And it supplants and keeps their businesses open and manufacturing. Because one of the beautiful things about it is it diversifies the portfolio. When the private sector economy is going down, 9 times out of 10, DoD is going up. And there's a number of companies that were on the brink of leaving this area and going out of business, but they were fortunate enough to secure some of those DoD contracts, and it kept them afloat during this recession. That's money in our community. That's mothers, fathers, singles, couples, whatever, that are working, paying taxes to this municipality, to this state, to this federal government, to this county, this school district. Children in school, people living here able to keep alive because they have that supplanting it. Because I won't name the companies, but on one basis I could name a few that were going to go away, but they were lucky to hook that contractor to get them through these times, to diversify their portfolio. There's a lot of work in northwest Wisconsin and northeast Minnesota that's a part of the portfolio of those machinists, those welders, those manufacturing companies. It's what's keeping them here. It's what's keeping families fed. It's causing there to be more housing because they have an income and they're able to stay here and not have to move away. In addition to that, that type of stuff is one of the biggest funders of education at the higher end because they do academic research, which has led to many of the innovative products we currently have today. Almost everything that's high end was a cast-off that was used by the military, and now it's into the private sector. Much of the innovation is funded that way at the higher end in academic research. That's the manufacturing center. If we look a little further, we look at our local employer, we'll just pick one, the guard base, one of the largest employers in Duluth. And not just the guard base, but the spin-offs of it, the bread company, the milk company, the whatever company that's bringing product to that base, the ancillary support stuff in the community. I don't remember what it is, 1,500, 1,700 employees at the guard base that are feeding their families, that are going on remote missions and coming back, feeding their families, buying houses, fueling our economy. If we were to lose an employer, and you can put a sentence in there saying you support our guard base but not the funding, it's a mixed message. And we worked hard not long ago to get the last block of the F-16 planes. But that wasn't to save the base. That's a step in the puzzle. Because we're working on getting a composite base, which will have 90 to 100 maybe full-time Air Force people here. Because Air Guard bases, quite frankly, are being closed all over the country. And the only way to possibly save it is to get a composite base, which is full-time Air Force coming here. And with a composite base, while we're talking and lobbying generals and other people on Capitol Hill and our left and right-leaning elected officials to try to do that, to save that for that vital component of our community, at the same time to send a message forward like this, while it's symbolic, sends the wrong message to those people in DC. It's just not the time. Those things worry me. We got the housing, then we got the Coast Guard here. You know how much rental housing they fuel, that they rent places? They're struggling for places. We're struggling to build more places for their employees that come here on 2 to 3 year tours, short term. They rent. So a landlord somewhere is feeding their family. They're buying in the community. These people are buying in the community. You got the Army Guard. During my time, we had so many young people that would join the Guard for one thing. 6 years in and out, I want my college paid for. Yeah, you could say college paid for is from somewhere else, but not if the opportunity to be in the Guard isn't there. And when you're cutting Guard bases, Army bases, the whole gambit. The Reserve, we lost the Navy Reserve. We missed that boat. We fought hard on that. We built a new doggone place for them, and within a couple years it shuttered. And with that, those people moved away. Oh gee, now our community's struggling more because I don't remember the number of people it was, but they're not spending money in Duluth anymore. They moved away. They had to go away. It's a real complex thing, and it's so interwoven into our community. You can't believe the manufacturing companies here employing people, and the only reason they stayed open is because DoD contracts help float the boat during these bad times. I don't believe this is the time to bring this forward. Do I think it? I also don't think this belongs at the council level, but on another level, it strongly does, to be sent the other message. We value those things. That leads to innovation in our country, and it keeps people in our community employed, children in school, tax paying. It's a very complex thing.
Thank you, Councilor Kraus. Go ahead, Councilor Krug.
Thank you, President Hartman. Initially, when Councilor Gardner spoke with me about this resolution, I said, oh, I'm definitely for it, because I believe it does affect us on a local issue. And then I had one of these moments where I thought, oh my goodness, what about the Air Guard base? What about the 148th? And so I said, whoa, I gotta wait, I have to look a little bit more into this. And I appreciate all of the comments, and thank you, Councilor Kraus, for your comments as well. I'm convinced after studying the issue that the air base, it's in the resolution as an example of a part of the military that is very well run and should be held up as a model. And I appreciate the things that you've mentioned, Councilor Kraus, about the Coast Guard and all. For me, it's about balance, and I think it was Karen who put up that slide that when the United States spends as much on the military as the next 19 combined, you have to ask a question about balance. And for me, that is the issue. It does affect us. It's cuts in programs, cuts in mental health programs that are on everybody's minds these days, and in other kinds of programs. And so I am supportive of this resolution, and we'll be voting yes on it.
Thank you, Councilor Krug. Go ahead, Councilor Larson.
Thank you, President Hartman. Thank you to everyone who came to speak tonight. I really appreciate whether you spoke or are here, gathered ahead of time. And I have to say that actually having people here in the chambers or having people here at Opportunity for Citizens to be heard, it's actually my favorite part of the work. And it's a real privilege for me, even when I may not, my vote may not reflect what you've asked at times, or we may disagree. It's a real privilege for me to listen and to have you here and take your time. I know you've been here a few hours. We have too. And I think what I want to say about this resolution is that, to me, money is a story. It's a story about who we are. It's about what our choices are. When I was growing up, money was really about having most of what we needed, a little bit of what we wanted, and having to make some pretty hard choices as a family about how to make some of those things work. To me now, as a mother, money is about some of those same things, choices, privileges, needs. It's also looking at the classrooms that my kids are in here in public schools and knowing that there really isn't enough money to go around. Knowing from the work that I've done at Chum for 11 years that there's a lot of families, there's not enough to make everybody successful in a market economy. There's not enough to take care of all the services that we have. And so for me, supporting this resolution tonight is a way to offer a different kind of story as well, and to say that it is a different way to look at how we're doing budgeting, to really recognize that what happens on a federal level impacts us very deeply here in our community. But I feel it as a community member. I know that our constituents across the city feel what it means when those choices are made for us. And I like the idea of inviting a slightly different story into who we can be and incorporating the recognition that there are some great things that we do through our military. Really appreciate that there is the acknowledgement of the 148th. I think that's a really great inclusion in terms of really putting a locality on this resolution that recognizes who Duluth is and a part of something that's important to who the city has been. So I thank you for bringing this forward, Councilor Gardner, and those of you speaking here tonight and being here. And